Welcome everybody to tonight's webinar. I wanted to chat about a presentation that I did at the DAC Days meeting. Some of you that are on this evening were fortunate enough to hear it live. So I apologize if there's some repetition, but sometimes I think the more times you hear it, maybe you pick up something else. So hopefully it will be that way tonight. So I was asked to speak at DAC Days on the top 5 DAC products selling wise and why I think they are the top 5. As you'll see, I couldn't narrow it down to the top 5. It was the top 6. And this is based on sales volume. So the DAC oil, the DAC digestive feed additive or the DDA, the Orange Superior, the Breeders' Choice Plus, the Cool Gut, and the Bloom rounded out the top 6. And as we go through this, I'll kind of explain why I think these are the top 6 products. I think that these, fit the most need. Every horse can benefit from some oil. Every horse can benefit from DDA. Potentially not every horse needs Orange Superior, but we have a lot of people that utilize it. There are a lot of horses that use Cool Gut or Bloom. We've got a lot of breeding horses that feed Breeders' Choice Plus. So let's start out with the DAC oil. It's probably every year the most, it hits the top sales every year for the amount that is sold. And what does the DAC oil do? What are our selling points? And this is really good for anybody that's new, or if you're just struggling with, what should I be recommending when I first go to a farm? The DAC oil, it's going to provide weight gain. It is pure calories. So number one, it is for weight gain. Safe, simple weight gain. Oh, I'm getting an actual value in 2024, 110,000 gallons of oil. That just sounds like funny money. 110,000 gallons of oil were sold. That is an exceptional amount of DAC oil. Second, any fat supplement is going to help with coat shine. Now, it's not going to help with coat repair, but it will help with coat shine. There are some disease states where horses cannot utilize calories coming from things like sugars and starches that you might get from cereal grains. Tying up is one of those. There are lots of different types of tying up or causes, but a lot of them require a change in the horse's diet away from typical sugars and starches and towards a higher fat diet. So the DAC oil is very beneficial in those cases. We also have a significant amount of natural vitamin E in our DAC oil, as well as it being high in omega-3 fatty acids, in particular fish oil. So 98% fat. It's, as I mentioned, weight gain. It's an excellent product for weight gain. 2 measuring cups of oil gives you the same calorie content as about 4.5 pounds of oats. 2 measuring cups of oil gives you the same calorie content as 6 pounds of alfalfa. 2 measuring cups of oil give you the same calorie content as 5 pounds of dry beet pulp. So you can see that it is a very calorie dense ingredient. If you split 2 measuring cups of oil up over 2 or 3 meals in a day, it doesn't add any extra bulk to the diet. Most horses don't even know it's there. It's very palatable. So adding 5 pounds of dry beet pulp, and then you're going to wet it, that could end up being, 15 pounds of extra bulk, and that can be sometimes challenging to get the horse to eat. So I always utilize oil as part of my weight gaining program. Now, some people say to me, well, I tried the DAC oil and it didn't put weight on my horse. And I said, well, how much were you feeding? One pump, two pumps. Well, one pump is 1 ounce, two pumps is 2 ounces, um, and 2 cups is a little less than a pound and a half of oil. So 16 ounces in a pound. Um, so we're looking at needing 18, 19 pumps a day to get our 2 measuring cups of oil. So a lot of people just don't feed enough oil. If they're struggling and oil is not putting weight on their horse, they're just not feeding enough. Coat shine. I've got this little diagram here. It's a hair follicle. You can see the little blue and red blood vessels going into the bottom of the hair follicle. There's a little muscle off to the left that goes up to the skin surface. That's called the piloerector muscle. That's what makes hair stand on its end or lay down flat. And then there's this sebaceous gland, fatty gland. And that sebaceous gland is full of fat and it actually lubricates the hair shaft. So in the wild, horses don't need to be nice and shiny, but they do have to, they lubricate that hair shaft and the skin layer, and that stops them from getting kind of any infection in the skin or the water breaking down their skin layer. And what that does is when the light shines on that hair, if it's clean, then it will refract off, and that's what makes the horse look shiny. So obviously there is um, no nothing that is going to replace, a good brushing, a clean horse, but those things and oil in the diet will give your horse a really nice coat shine. And I think every person that owns a horse wants their horse to have a nice shiny coat. I think it's synonymous with healthy horse. I mentioned tying up, um, as well as natural vitamin E. And so horses that tie up have some muscle disorders. We know they can't eat a lot of sugars and starches in their diet. So we need to get calories or energy from another source, which is oil. We also know that these horses, because they have muscle issues, can benefit from additional vitamin E. This is 100% natural vitamin E. And then I mentioned the omega-3 fatty acids. There are 3 different types of omega-3 fatty acids: ALA, EPA, and DHA, right? ALA comes from chia, flax, hemp, your traditional plant forms. But that is not very useful to the horse. That actually has to get converted to EPA and DHA. And EPA and DHA can convert back and forth between each other. But it's the DHA that's actually super effective at anti-inflammatory, at reproductive health. And that's why we put fish oil, which gives you direct sources of DHA, in the DAC oil, because it is a much better source, much more effective source of omega-3 fatty acids. So that's why I think the oil sits on the top of the leaderboard. Number one, it's an easy sell. Like if as dealers, if everybody, most people know, I want to put weight on my horse. I want to add extra fat to the diet. Okay, so they come to you and they know what they want. Um, Most people are not opposed to their horse having a better, nice, shiny hair coat. So weight gain, shiny hair coat. And just another management thing is when you're feeding different supplements, sometimes these granular supplements can sift out. So even just a pump of oil and mix it all up will help stick it all together so that horses can't sift. So from a management standpoint, the oil is super helpful too. The DAC digestive feed additive, the DDA, improves digestion, supports gut microbes, has a mycotoxin binder. What are mycotoxins? Mycotoxins are the toxins that come from some molds. Not every mold has toxins, but the dangerous molds that they secrete toxins and they're called mycotoxins. And so we know that horses are super sensitive to these mycotoxins. So it's got an ingredient in there that will bind up those mycotoxins. Daily gut support, probiotics, prebiotics, postbiotics. Let's dig a little deeper. So most of you, if you've heard me say, I say every horse every day should eat the DDA. Like daily gut support, I mentioned it's got the mycotoxin binder in it, which is a product with the brand name Integral. It comes from Alltech. Um, the probiotics. So a probiotic in the gut, there are beneficial microbes. And sometimes those microbes die off or get affected by the weather, disease state, stress. So we want to put more of those beneficial microbes back in the gut. And so that's a probiotic. Probiotic, by definition, is a live microorganism that you put into the gut. And so YSAC, which comes again from Alltech, is our probiotic that we have in the DDA. A prebiotic is food for those good bugs. So we're putting these good microorganisms into the gut, but we also want to feed those good microorganisms so that they can continue to proliferate. And so we utilize prebiotics, that is food for those bugs. We use moss, again, from Alltech, biomoss. Biomoss can also bind up toxins in the digestive system as well. So not only is it feeding those good bugs, but it can also bind up pathogenic bacteria. And then postbiotics, you've heard me talk about the GI Pro 3. GI Pro 3 is kind of a combination of all three of them, probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics. But it has these postbiotics. What they are is they're substances that are secreted or created by those good bugs that they in turn have a health benefit to the host. One could talk about B vitamins. So the bugs that live in the horse's hindgut make B vitamins. One could consider those B vitamins a postbiotic because the bugs make them and then the horse uses them so they have a benefit to the horse. The GI Pro 3 has probiotics of live microorganisms. It has prebiotics. It has food, but also these microorganisms can proliferate and they create substances that will kill harmful bacteria, pathogenic bacteria, that will interfere with the communication between harmful bacteria and can also help with gut tissue repair. So that all of those things are in the DDA. And so for me, I'll talk a little bit more about the GI Pro 3, but why I believe that the DDA and the DAC oil stand out as the top two above and beyond is they don't change the horse's diet at all. You don't need to switch off the hay you're feeding or switch off the commercial grain or change the local meal mix you're using. You can add these to any diet out there and they will be beneficial. And I think that that's what sets the oil and the DDA apart. Any diet currently being fed to a horse can be improved by feeding DDA or oil. So we have the GI Pro 3 in a lot of the supplements, but it's only at a therapeutic dose in the DDA and in the Rescue Aid and in the Full Paste. So those pathogenic or bad bacteria that it is going to interfere with, Clostridia, which causes diarrhea, Rhodococcus, which causes respiratory issues, Streptococcus, strangles, and Salmonella. These are the primary pathogenic or bad bugs that the GI Pro 3 combo of pre, pro, and postbiotics work against. It's those ones. And they are some of the most common pathogenic or bad bugs in the equine industry. So we move out of those top two, and the top third product selling wise is the DAC Orange. It's a vitamin and mineral supplement. It's, we have the direct action, which is bare bones, got very little technology in it. And then we move up to the Orange Superior. Why I think Orange Superior is a better seller than something like maybe Racing Formula or Total Performance or even the Total Performance Plus is you can feed the Orange Superior to any horse. Yes, we recommend it for mature horses, but if you have 15 boarding horses and all of a sudden you've decided I'm going to get, that they're all just like regular riding horses, I got a brood mare. Yes, we definitely recommend you feed Breeders' Choice Plus, but if that's not an option, we can do the Orange Superior. If you've got a stallion, but everything else on the farm is eating Orange Superior, we can do Orange Superior. In a pinch, if you've got a young horse, we can do the Orange Superior as long as you've got good quality other feed ingredients. So it complements it. It can really feed across the board. Obviously, I've mentioned we have more specific products, but if a customer really just wants one that's going to do all, the Orange Superior is the one. It's a vitamin and mineral supplement specifically designed for adult horses, and it's going to complement straight grain. So if you're feeding just a corn oat or corn oat barley type diet, or even just a hay only, forage only diet, but it will also complement commercial feeds. So you're feeding a Purina, Nutrina, whatever your brand is in your area. Um, you don't always have to supplement with additional vitamins and minerals, but a lot of times people underfeed those products, and then they need to add additional vitamins and minerals on top. So again, Orange Superior um, is just the most broad and versatile vitamin and mineral supplement that we have. So I believe this is why it's in the top 5/6. All organic minerals doesn't mean we haven't sprayed chemicals on them. It means they're in their organic or more bioavailable plant form, right? They're mimicking how the horse would see it in nature, so they're much more available for absorption. Organic selenium, same thing, much more available for absorption. 100% natural vitamin E. It's got probiotics and GI Pro 3 in this product at what we call a supportive dose, a daily dose. Not therapeutic like your horse is sick, but at a daily supportive dose. Here you can see I've got a couple of diets outlining how to use the DAC Orange. So we've got a 1,000-pound horse that's doing moderate exercise, and that picture on the left-hand side, you've all seen these charts before of my Equibalance program. This diet we would consider balanced because the bars are all touch that red 100% line, which means that 100% of that requirement, that nutrient is being met. So digestible energy, crude protein, calcium, phosphorus, copper, zinc, selenium, manganese, iodine, lysine, vitamin A, and vitamin E. Now, there are a lot of other nutrients that need to be met in the diet, but these are the hardest to meet. So that's why we single out these ones in these pictures. But you can see if you feed your horse 20 pounds of a decent hay, 3 pounds of oats, and 3 ounces of DAC orange, you have a nicely balanced diet where the horse is getting all of the nutrients they need. Well, when people feed a commercial concentrate, we have written on the label, um, you know, recommend if you're feeding it with a fortified feed, which means it's got vitamins and minerals in it, that you contact the nutritionist at DAC, either myself or Dr. Duran, and we can advise you as to how much of the vitamin and mineral you need to feed based on the amount of the commercial concentrate you're feeding. So this one, 20 pounds of orchard hay, 3 pounds of it's actually a Tractor Supply feed, inexpensive feed that's got a little bit of trace minerals in it. And you can then cut back on the amount of orange to 1.5 ounces. So that description on the right is not always going to be the same. It all depends on how much commercial concentrate you're feeding and which commercial concentrate, how fortified it is, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just showing you that if you're feeding a commercial product that has vitamins and minerals in it, we can feed less of the DAC orange. Breeder's Choice Plus. Why I don't think it's in the top three is because not everybody has a broodmare or a stallion. Um, that is definitely a more specific area. Again, this is a vitamin and mineral supplement specific to broodmares and stallions. Two additional technologies over and above what are in the DAC orange. The marine derived calcium, so that looks like honeycomb, super bioavailable, helps with gut health, but also with bone density. And the chemtrace chromium. The chromium is a nutrient that we source from Chemin, and it can unlock more nutrients to the horse so that mares that are during pregnancy, it increases fertility rates. I think I've actually got some things here that it will do. So it's a bioavailable, natural ingredient, and it'll unlock more energy. And how that helps with a horse during reproduction, um, reduce inflammation in the uterine lining, and that increases conception rates and pregnancy rates. Reduce first days to service, so get her pregnant much more quickly, and it will also increase the number of viable eggs. All right, mares are born with a certain amount of eggs. You want to keep them healthy, and the chromium will do that. Improves immune function as well. So immune cells, they just kind of sit there until the immune system is challenged, and then they kind of wake up, and they're hungry when they wake up, and they need to eat something, and they will utilize glucose, and chromium will help unlock more glucose so that it helps boost that immune system. So again, organic minerals, organic selenium, 100% natural vitamin E, probiotics, and GI Pro 3, again at the supportive level. But what sets it apart from the DAC orange is the marine-derived calcium and the chromium. Again, 20 pounds orchard hay, 3 pounds of oats, a mare in late pregnancy. Now, late pregnancy, we know this is if she's a kind of easy keeper or moderate keeper. If she's a super thin mare, then you're going to probably have to feed a little bit more oats or maybe feed more alfalfa to boost the calorie content. But you got a good quality orchard grass hay. You've got a mare that maintains her body weight pretty well, and 3 pounds of oats and 3 ounces of Breeder's Choice Plus is going to give you all the vitamins and minerals she needs and all of the nutrients. Again, if you're adding in a commercial concentrate, you can bump back on the amount of Breeder's Choice Plus that you're feeding. So next is the Cool Gut. And Cool Gut has a special place in my heart because one of the first supplements that I designed for DAC. And it was designed to support gut health and hind gut health. There were so many supplements on the market that worked either in the stomach or in the hind gut, but didn't work in both places. Um, and so I wanted it to work in both places. And it's going to normalize stomach pH. So the problem when horses get gastric ulcers or kind of upset, hind gut, is that those environments get very acidic for a whole slew of different reasons, but they get quite acidic, and that is not normal and can cause damage, whether it be gastric ulcers or colic-like symptoms. So we want to utilize ingredients that are going to normalize, stabilize that stomach pH. So the marine-derived calcium, whey protein, these things are going to help to stabilize the pH. Helps to repair damaged tissue. So we've got the marine calcium, as I've mentioned, and some of you may be familiar if you've seen Purina's product Outlast. That it's the same active ingredient. It is marine-derived calcium. So if somebody's feeding that product and they're looking to DAC for an alternative, it's the exact same thing. It's marine-derived calcium. It buffers stomach acid. YSAC from Alltech stabilize the acid as well, support the gut microbes, because remember, we want to work in the hind gut as well. L-glutamine, gut repair and immune cell function. Glycine helps to reduce inflammation and tissue repair. Moss binds bad bacteria. FOS is another prebiotic. So we've got MOS, which stands for mannan oligosaccharide. FOS stands for fructo oligosaccharide. So both prebiotics, and they help to feed beneficial bacteria, bind harmful bacteria, and also help with the intestinal lining. And then DHA, which is that omega-3 fatty acid, is anti-inflammatory. And finally, and again, the reason why I believe the Cool Gut is in the top 5 is because the majority, I think it's like 90% of performance horses have gastric ulcers. It is the biggest problem that we face in performance horses or exercising horses today is gastric ulcers, and we're no closer to eliminating that problem as we were when we first started learning about it. Now we're doing a lot to ameliorate or mediate the issues with gastric ulcers, but it's the nature of the beast. We exercise our horses, we put them on trailers, we fly them around the world, we, put them in stressful situations, and all of those things increase their risk for gastric ulcers. So unless we just let horses live out on the prairie and never touch them again, they're going to have gastric ulcers. So that's why I believe the Cool Gut is in the top 5. And again, super easy. It doesn't interfere with anything they're already feeding. Even if they're doing a GastroGuard or UlcerGuard medication, that really should only be used for 4 weeks. It's a 4-week protocol. And so if somebody's veterinarian has recommended that, then you can go on the Cool Gut right after that. We have people that have opted not to use the drugs and just use Cool Gut, but there's so many different ways that you can approach it. But again, I think because gastric ulcers and hindgut issues are one of the biggest problems in horses today, that's why the Cool Gut sits right up there. And then the DAC Bloom. The DAC Bloom helps with hair quality and top line support and weight gain. So it's, oops, oh my. Organic minerals. It's got biotin, which is going to help with hair quality. Zinc, methionine, which is a chelated mineral. So what we've done is we've taken zinc and we've attached it to an amino acid, methionine, and we know that there's so much research to show that animals fed zinc methionine, not just plain old zinc or zinc oxide or any other form of zinc, but zinc methionine had fuller, darker, smoother, and softer coats. Um, so when I mentioned earlier about the DAC oil putting that nice shine on the horse, if your horse has really rough hair coat or dry split ends, then no amount of oil is actually going to repair that damaged hair coat, right? So if you've got a horse that has a rough hair coat, then the bloom is ideal because it's going to improve the hair coat. Now, hoof is just hard hair, so it's also going to improve hoof quality. We've got some amino acids, so the little building blocks for protein that will help with some top line. But again, I was asked this question the other day. The person sent me some pictures and said, and told me the diet and said, what can I do to help my horse's top line? It's 19 years old. It's getting X, Y, and Z in its diet. I'm not doing any exercise with it. There's the problem. Top line is made of muscles. You can't grow muscles if you don't do exercise. You can't grow muscles if you don't do exercise. I should make a rap song out of it because you can't grow muscles if you don't do exercise. You can make a horse fat. You can make it look like it's got a top line, but really it's just got a crusty neck and a flat back because it's so fat, right? But if you want a muscular top line, you have to exercise the horse and you have to do the right type of exercise. If I want to grow my leg muscles, my quad muscles, I'm not going to stand in the gym and do bicep curls, right? I'm going to squat. So you have to do the right exercises. But the bloom is also 32% fat, so it will give you some weight gain. Nowhere near as significant as the DAC oil, but that's why we have a lot of people use the bloom in sales prep, right? Really helps with that haircut. Sales prep horses are often doing exercise, so we're helping build some of that muscle, and it's got a little extra fat for some more filling out the body condition. We have a lot of people that will actually use a combo of oil and bloom together, just more bang for your buck. So again, I believe that all of these products, well, number one, every single one of these products, except maybe the DAC Orange or the Breeder's Choice Plus, can fit into anyone's existing program. And the reason why I cut those two out is if a person is feeding a commercial concentrate at the recommended amount, then they may not need an additional vitamin and a mineral supplement. Most people don't, though, feed enough of that vitamin and minerals, enough of that commercial concentrate. So again, we a lot of times need to supplement with additional vitamins and minerals. But all of the other, the oil, the cool gut, the DDA, the bloom, these can all fit in any program out there. It doesn't matter what you're feeding, they can fit into the program. All these supplements address the most common problems in horses. If I did a survey and said, what are the most common questions that I get? What are the most common problems that people are constantly asking me for help with? Weight gain, coat health, gut health, which is stomach and hindgut distress, top line, and then also they're asking me to, am I feeding the right feeds to balance my diet? Am I doing the right thing? They're giving me an example of their diet and saying, am I giving my horse all of the things that they need? And if we're not feeding enough of the commercial concentrate, because if I fed more, he'd turn into a tick, then that's where your vitamins and minerals fit in. And the DAC Orange, like I mentioned, it's just our most versatile, broad vitamin and mineral. So that's why I think it sits up there in this category. So with that, are there any questions?